What's up, guys? Today we're going to have Nolan Saxton on. Nolan is a 2021 NAIA national champion at 157 pounds. He pretty much just destroyed his opponents on en route to win his national tournament. Actually surprised he didn't get Wrestler of the Year. I happened to get it, but, basically pretty subjective. I think he was one of the top contenders for that. Anyways, we're going to get Nolan on here in just a second.
Is he good?
Yeah, dude. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Wow, you have like really good camera quality.
Is it good?
Yeah.
I thought it was bad when I pulled it up. I was like, oh no.
Nah, dude. I usually would use my actual camera for this, but
Okay.
I didn't feel like setting it up, so
Yeah, no worries.
it is whatever. Plus, most people who are gonna listen is gonna be Spotify, so it doesn't really matter.
Sure.
I just like the video calling type thing.
Oh yeah, totally. No, I totally get that. I'm a when I listen to like JREs and stuff, I like to watch the videos too. So I get it.
Did you listen to the Jordan Peterson JRE? I don't know if you listened to Jordan Peterson at all.
I haven't listened to. I feel like he just did a recent one like last week, right?
Yeah. It was 4 hours.
Yeah, no, I haven't. I think I just started it actually, and I got like 5 minutes in. But I've listened to some of his in the past. I believe, but I drive like 25 minutes to Reinhart every day, and back. So I try to. It's an easy drive though, so I try to like listen to podcasts instead of listening to music. Just get something out of it,
Yeah, I always listen to podcasts. I listen to JRE, Jocko, and then this one called Trading Secrets. I don't know. You have any podcasts you would recommend for me to listen to? I'm always open.
Man, I like the. I'm a JRE. I like the. I can't get into his like lengthy ones. You know how he does like the Jocko specials are like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
I listen to those. I'm trying to think. I've been heavy on those ones lately, actually. I could pull up my Spotify right now, but
well, yeah, whatever you want to do, dude. I literally, because I travel a lot, just like you. Like driving. My commute is like 35 minutes a day. So
you do a lot of like camps and stuff, and clinics and privates, and
I do a ton. Like it's my full-time job. So I'm literally driving.
I like the Meat Eater podcast. I don't know if you're like an outdoorsman, like a hunter and fisher and stuff.
Nah, too city.
I like to hunt, so I listen to those. I like the Bash Mania if I'm in a wrestling mood. I listen to Chael Sonnen's occasionally. I don't know if you're an MMA guy. I know that. Like you might like some of those.
Yeah, I like Basher Mania actually. That's a really good one. And Chael Sonnen's. And I listen to Flow Wrestling Radio Live too.
Yeah. See, I don't get into that one a whole lot. They're not on like Spotify. I got the Spotify, so.
Oh yeah. They're big old losers. Okay. Right. Anyways, I gotta start asking you questions so I don't kill all your time. Obviously you won nationals last year. I think it was last year. Did we win it the same year?
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Bro, last year was crazy. That's why I can't remember. There's a lot happened last year. I was actually surprised we even had a national tournament last year.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was a crazy year.
So why? This is the first question because I was super curious. How come you didn't come back for an extra year?
So basically, the biggest reason was school. So I had I could have obviously used the COVID year. I did 4 years. I was really just ready to be done with school. So, I could have stayed at Reinhart and got a master's. That was one of my options. I contemplated it. I've been wrestling for a long time. I was kind of just ready to be done competing. And then, like I said, I was kind of sick of school as well. So, that was probably the biggest things. Some people that know me know that I have a lot of competition anxiety and everything. I'd struggle with that just like a lot of wrestlers do. Yeah. Still do. And I overcame that pretty well. But, like I said, I was ready to be done competing. And, like I said, the school definitely played a big factor as well. So,
yeah, same, man. Like, I was just so tired of school. Obviously, we're both seniors at the same time. So it was just like, man, I was tired of school. I was tired of competing in wrestling, to be completely honest.
Right.
I don't really have any competition anxiety. I just was kind of bored, to be honest.
Right. No, yeah, I get that.
Yeah, I was like, and it's like, I mean, and this, you've achieved your dream already, so it's like it's And I got to do it 3 times, and I was like, well, okay, I don't like a fourth time is not going to matter.
Right.
So yeah, basically saying like school, and then kind of just being like, like I'm done with this. Like this isn't it for me. But
Yeah, it's actually a crazy story. While we're on the topic, is I planned on redshirting last year, so I started the season redshirting, and then it came out like the NAIA was going to NCAA and get the COVID year. So then, we had a talk with my head coach, Coach Bedard, and another guy, Antonio Stewart, was a 4-time All-American for Reinhart, graduated with me, and we were like, well, yeah, let's wrestle this year. It's a free year. We'll wrestle this year, and then we can always wrestle next year too. And so we had planned, both of us actually, ironically, had planned to like redshirt last year and then be competing this year. And then, when the competition came around, it was like you said, long season, weighed on us and kind of just made that decision as we went forward. Like, yeah, this is probably going to be our last year, our last ride. And, I do tell people though, and this is the truth, if I would have taken second, I would be wrestling right now. So
yeah, of course.
Right.
Of course.
So it makes it easy that you go out on top too. So
yeah, it does. I'm actually completely the same as you, man. If I would have had somehow lost, I would have been like, I guess I'm coming back.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been able to end like that.
No. So Antonio Stewart, yeah. I thought he was coming back this year.
Yeah, no, we both we were the same boat. Like we both graduated, and I remember we talked about it together. We were like, like it was kind of weird. It was kind of like a weird conversation. We both felt exactly the same, and then it came down to the same type of things. We were both graduating and whatnot, and kind of ready to move on and be done with school. So
yeah, and now both of you coach at Reinhart, right?
Yeah. Yep. So he got his degree in criminal justice, so he's helping out too. And then I got my degree in business, so both on staff. So it's awesome.
That's awesome, dude. So what are you doing now that you're done? Other than like coaching, like what are you doing?
Yeah, so coaching's my full-time job. So I actually got hired.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, our assistant left last year in like April.
Okay.
He went to the Citadel. Great opportunity, very happy for him. And then I had some job offers, and I wasn't 100% sold on any of them. Coach Bedard offered me the job, and I was like, man, I'd love to. So I'm our full-time assistant coach. It's my full-time job. And then I actually do sales for a apparel company, a new apparel company, actually out of Michigan, where I'm from. It's called Raised Up. So, we do custom stuff, apparel, whether it be wrestling singlets. We do a lot of gear, football, baseball, basketball, social sports, and then obviously businesses as well. So, just dabbling in the business world as well. So
heck yeah, dude. It's really important. Lots of guys, I was talking to Andreas Bond, actually. He won nationals the same year as us. He was the guy right before you, actually, the guy at 149. And it's like huge, like trying to put yourself into the business world after college, especially if you're a wrestler. Like for me, like my whole job is like, it's an entrepreneurship, and it's a very successful business, but it's like lots of guys don't know how to do that after they graduate college. I guess they don't know how to like do something that's not your normal 9-to-5 job. It's hard. It's risky, I guess.
Yeah, totally. And I think wrestling is one of those unique sports where it may take a lot more, obviously physical, but a lot more mental, attention. We have got to have the longest college season out of any sport in the country. Football obviously is year round. Every sport's year round, but I mean, wrestling, we're going full blast. August, we start preseason. We're not done until March. So we're one of the only sports that's like full semester. So it's so draining. And I think you're so hyper focused on it as a college athlete, you almost forget about life after college. I think a lot of athletes do. I did. I know I did. And then, when it hit me last year, I was like, dang, I'm done. Like, now I'm in the real world. I was kind of like almost take a step back and realize, man, I got to think about this stuff. I haven't thought about this stuff in 4 years,
Yeah, me too, man. It's like the craziest things is I had planned to come back to Lindsey Olson to be a grad assistant there. It didn't work out because the coaches were leaving anyways. And I was like, man, I'm not going to stay here if the coaches are leaving. So I was like, I'm going to leave too. And then when I got to Louisville, I was like, what the heck am I going to do? I started working at a coffee shop just to save some money up and get my own place. And obviously now I have my own place. And then I was just like, all right, I think I just need to start coaching. Like I need to start coaching wrestling. And I'd already done a ton of camps by the time I decided this. And I was like, how do I make this, how do I actually fund my lifestyle with coaching? And then I just basically dive just deep into like the business side of actually being like a coach, like basically a PT, like a physical trainer or personal trainer, rather. And with wrestling, you basically have to take the same approach about just getting clients and doing stuff like that. And really with anything, but you don't know any of this stuff when you're in college. Like they don't teach you anything, and they don't teach you about taxes either, by the way. That's like been like this. If you're an entrepreneur, it's like, no one's going to do your taxes for you. You have to do it. And if you don't, the IRS is coming for you. And yeah, it's really weird. I wish I would have started my first year of college. I wish I would have started saving money like then. And it's like a big regret. And I'm only 23. I'm guessing you're around the same age as me.
Yeah, I'm 23, turning 24. And I totally get it. I learned so much in school. It's like, they don't teach you about money. The one thing that, drives, food and whatever, they don't teach you about. So, I don't know what you got your degree in. I got mine in business. So
counseling. I got mine in counseling.
Yeah. Didn't teach me about money. So I, obviously through college, everything's kind of paid for. Like, you're on your parents' health insurance, and, they helped me out, and, so I can speak for myself. But, then you're living on campus. You don't pay rent really. It's a some fee at the beginning of the year. It was included for me, like a meal plan and everything. So, you're not paying groceries. You're not paying rent. You're not paying bills like electric, gas, that type of stuff. And then you get in the real world and you're like, man, all this money, like I got to pay every month, it's ironic. So
it is. I always like think about it. Like I had part-time jobs the whole time I was in college, even during wrestling season. And like I felt, I was public safety and an RA, so I had 2 jobs during wrestling season all the time.
Respect. That's impressive, man. Especially with the success you had.
Yeah,
I got a degree. That's awesome.
I was hustling, dude. I was making it happen.
Right.
But I felt rich at the time. Like I was like, man, I'm freaking, and the money I make now compared to then is just exponentially higher.
Right.
But now I have all these bills where it's like
the expenses.
You got like $1,500 to $2,000 a month worth of bills if you count food and gas plus all the housing bills. And you're like, Jesus Christ! Sometimes I'm like, I regret it. As far as like the degree I chose, because I'm just not going to be a counselor. I would even prefer a basic general business degree. Not that I know what that comes with. Like I don't know what they would teach me that would help with what I'm doing right now. But college is confusing. That's also a thing that like I tell like a lot of my students is like, dude, college is very confusing because you get in there and they say, hey, pick a degree that you want, and that's the one you're gonna stick on. And if you decide to change it 2 or 3 years down the line, you got to be here for 3 or 4 more semesters, and it's weird, dude.
I changed my major like 3 times and still somehow graduated 4 years and transferred schools and
transferred?
I had to grind. I had to grind my senior year to graduate. Yeah, this is actually a funny story. You probably don't remember. You actually hosted me on my visit to Lindsay.
Wait, what? No way.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, it was a couple of years ago. So
what? For real?
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah, it's kind of funny.
Bro, that's so crazy because we hosted Anthony Orozco. I don't know if you remember him. He was from Menlo. He won nationals twice.
Yeah.
So we hosted. I remember I hosted him. I can't believe I hosted you. What the hell?
Yeah, it was. So I went to Central Michigan out of high school for a year, and then that summer transferred, and I visited Lindsay. So it was the summer. It was like late. It was the end of June, early July. I don't know the exact date, but I remember it was around July 4th. It might have been like July 2nd, and it was myself, Coach Ruff, the assistant, and then you and one other guy, and y'all were like the only ones on campus at the time. So we rolled around, we wrestled. I wrestled with Coach, and then you guys got a workout in, and then I went with y'all back to you. You had like an on-campus, or it was like on-campus, off-campus apartments. And we just we hung out. We watched videos of Thomas Gilman wrestling, and because we both love him. And,
yeah, that was I think Brett Bradford. I think that's who it was. Yes. And Brett won nationals too, actually.
Yeah. So it was like 3 national champs sitting in that room, and none of us had won it at that point. So we had It was
Yo,
fun.
that's so crazy. I completely forgot about that, to be
Yeah,
honest.
yeah. It's funny.
Dang, we messed up. We should have got you. You just kept beating Derek, and it's
Yeah,
we need to replace. Well, I guess now I'm not on the team, but whatever.
right.
Derek will probably hear this and be like, "You son of a bitch," but he knows. I love him, but you had his number, man. That was
I
crazy.
did. I did. He's a good dude. I like Derek a lot. I talked to him. You know, obviously when you go to war with someone like that, obviously it's all respect and
100%, dude.
oh, you talk to him. You know how it is. I mean, you go to war with somebody that many times and you talk to him and you know you get to know him and whatnot. And you know, I wish nothing but the best for him this year. And
Yeah, dude, of course, man. It's that was like me and Aaron, a guy named Aaron Johnson. I don't know if you know
yeah, I
who
know
that
Aaron
is.
pretty well actually. Yeah,
Yeah, we wrestled like 8 times. I beat him every time, but it was hard. Like each time, it was super super tough. And I
yeah.
was like, we're homies. I actually trained with him for a week in the summer. Like I went to the University of Cumberland's.
That's where
And
Coach Ruff
trained.
is at. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
That's cool, man.
Yeah, dude, it is cool. I don't see you going to train with Derek anytime soon because you got your own
Right,
team. You got like
right.
a whole team now. Who's your replacement? Who's the new 157 pounder?
So right now we got one guy in the rankings. I believe he's ranked 15th. His name's Trevor Burdick. He was a 4-time Georgia State champ. He was a national qualifier last year at 141. I think he went 1 and 2. And then we got another guy from Georgia. His name's Wyatt Higgins. They're kind of hashing it out right now. You know, it's getting to the end of the year, and with obviously NAIA. For those that don't know, we could take 12 to nationals.
Yeah.
So, you know, we always got those guys fighting for those last 2 spots and whatnot. So, man, it's fun though. It is fun.
It is super fun, man. Like one of the things like I will do eventually is I'll probably be a college coach, you know, and I told, you know, the only reason I didn't do it immediately was because I needed to, for one, I'm still an athlete. Like I'm a full-time jiu-jitsu athlete. I train like 7 to 8 times a week, just jiu-jitsu on top of doing the privates and stuff.
Yeah.
And 2, I needed a little bit of space from college wrestling. But it's definitely one of those things where it's like one day it's gonna happen. Like I'm gonna, and it will be in the NAIA for sure. I won't, at least for the start, I won't go to any other division. Just because I love the NAIA, man. I do
too.
It's a fun place, man. It's a small world too. That's why I started doing this podcast, because I was listening to I was listening to Flow Wrestling Radio, and I was like, man, they never talk about the NAIA guys, which I totally understand. But it's like, I could do that. I'm on social media. I have a pretty big presence as far as the NAIA guys have. And I was like, why not? I'm bored. I have lots of free time. And I was like, man, let me talk to some more NAIA guys, and not just wrestlers either, but just NAIA in general, because it's a great, I don't know. It has so many great opportunities that are really hard to find in Division I.
Oh yeah, totally. You know, and I hate the hate on NAIA. I feel like there's a lot of it out there. You know, I wrestled Division I out of high school at Central Michigan, and even myself, I remember thinking, like, when I transferred, I was like, oh, NAIA, like, I don't want to do that. Like, you know, and then I got there, and you obviously realized, and I think a lot of people forget, at the end of the day, wrestling is wrestling. That's what I try to tell people. It's like, you know, you're doing the same thing. You know, we're all beings. It's a sport. You know, wrestling is wrestling. With a sport like wrestling, you know, it's one-on-one. It's, you know, a lot goes into it, you know. So yeah, I love the NAIA, man. I have a lot of love for it. I want it to keep growing, and, you know, obviously I think it's sweet that you're doing this, and you know, I see people, NAIA, I know Nick Mitchell and Omi have been on the Flow Wrestling one this year with the Bader show, I think it was. That's great for the sport. You know, those guys are doing a great job growing the sport, and I think a lot of other people are. And I think, you know, I'm hoping anyway, in you know, the next 5-10 years, the NAIA is up there and gets the respect that it deserves. I
think it will. It's like, of course, man, the D1 guys are always going to be the best, like overall, of course, and that's totally fine. I do just think, like we said, with Omi and Nick being on the Bader show, I think it's great for kids to see those two guys, you know, especially those two guys. Because it's like, here's more options. You're still going to be able to wrestle at a high level. Of course, it's not the highest, but you're still going to be able to wrestle at a high level and win national titles. But for the most part, you can go to these schools and not pay that much money to go. Whereas Division I schools, like, I got offers from about 5 or 6 different Division I schools, nothing over like 50%, nothing over half. and the school that offered me half was Campbell, and half I would still be paying $25,000 a year.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like,
yeah. Like that goes back to like when we were talking earlier, wrestling. You get engulfed in it as a wrestler. I feel like more than other sports, and you almost lose sight of, the future. And wrestling's one of those unique sports. You can't do it for the rest of your life unless you're that very, you're those top 5 guys. Even yourself and I, we're national champs. I mean, how many national champs every year are done and never do it again? A lot. You lose sight of the future, and then 4 years down the road, maybe you didn't accomplish your goals and you're 120 grand in debt, or you could
and you can't monetize yourself at all. Like afterwards, it's crazy because lots of those Division I guys, just like on that note, they'll go on all this debt. They won't even become a national qualifier Division I, and they basically are forced to go that 9-to-5 job. So they might love wrestling, but they literally have nothing to. They can't really do anything with their wrestling skill anymore. And it also, I say it's partially the fault of the school. And, I believe in, taking extreme ownership or whatever, but people don't know how to monetize their skill after college. And most people's only skill after college, let's be honest, is their sport.
100%.
They learn stuff, but they just, it all goes back here, Like I have a degree. It's like right up there, and it's like never gonna put that on a resume anywhere. I mean, I will, I guess, if I ever apply for a job, but it's never like they know like that's not what matters from me. And lots of guys don't, I guess, like they don't know how to monetize that skill. And in the NAIA especially, it's like, if you don't win a national title, man, good luck. For the most part, like good luck making money outside of little camps and stuff every now and then. Speaking of that, do you do camps? Have you done any camps or anything yet?
Yeah, so I do some camps back home. Like I said, I'm from Michigan. Working on doing some down here in Georgia. So definitely if anyone's looking for camps, I'd love to. I have fun with them. I mean, it's hard not to have fun when you got 100 little dudes running around wrestling.
Did you win state in Michigan, by the way?
Yeah, I did. So I was a 4-time state placer in Michigan. Then my senior year, I won state. So I had a successful high school career. It was
Michigan's tough, dude.
Yeah.
I wrestled a Michigan state champ when I was at Fargo, and he destroyed me. I remember. I don't know. Maybe it's like 2017 Michigan state champ. I don't know. There's different divisions and stuff too. So
Michigan.
I have no idea either, man. I just remember I wrestled this dude from Michigan, and it just felt like I was wrestling a grown man. Like his hand fighting was on a different level. And I'm from Kentucky, dude, so we suck. Like we're a bunch of softies here. And I love my Kentuckians, and I'm trying to grow it here. But just overall, Kentucky wrestling compared to Michigan, it's like not comparable at all.
Yeah, no, we have mostly Georgia guys. For those that don't know, Reinhardt's just north of Atlanta. So we're probably 70% Georgia guys. So I'm like always ragging on the guys. Like, y'all have no idea what wrestling is. Like, go up to Michigan, you'll learn. But it's obviously like a fun joke. And Georgia's growing. And they're, definitely coming up on the come up as far as youth and high school wrestling and getting a lot better and stuff. But I mess with them all the time, and it's fun.
Yeah. Do you guys ever compete against Life? I'm not sure if you guys do.
Yeah. So they're actually coming into our conference next year, which is going to be great. So next year, Southeastern, Life, Bruton Parker, Kaiser, and St. Thomas are coming to our conference, which is going to be great for us, and everyone in our conference, so it'll help our guys get some, more competition throughout the season and whatnot. But yeah, we wrestle them. It's kind of like a rivalry. We're only like 30 minutes down the road from each other. So, we got the win on them this year, the upset.
You guys beat them this year?
Yeah, we did. We wrestled them at home on like December 16th, I believe, was the date. So we got the upset. It was a big upset, big rivalry, like I said. So, they got a great team and whatnot. And, obviously it's, like I said, it's all respect. It's all fun. And it was, man, you almost have to go back and watch the duel. You can find it online. It was one of the most insane duels I've ever been a part of. I mean, it was the craziest duel I've ever been a part of.
Yeah. You weren't wrestling.
No, I wasn't wrestling. At one point, a brawl broke out in the middle of it. Yeah, it was wild. It was like,
Was it like two guys just wrestling that started fighting or something? Or
so it was a 165-pound match. It was getting a little chippy. You know how wrestling is. I mean,
yeah.
basically, like, I mean, it's a legal fight, you know.
Yeah.
And then you throw on top of it a rivalry, and then you throw on top of it two top five teams, and you know, I think we were beating them at the time. So you start, you know, if you're a fan and you're a wrestler competing, you're like, man, I don't, you know, if you're on our side, you're thinking, man, I got to wrestle hard. We got to, you know, got to keep winning for this upset. If you're on Life's end, you're thinking, man, they're not going to beat us. You know, we're defending national champs, whatever. So it got chippy, and our guy kind of double legged him off. They got in this exchange and kind of ran him off the mat, and then maybe some punches were thrown. And then next thing I know, both benches were cleared, and before I knew it, there was parents, and the bleachers had cleared, and there was probably 100 people on the mat. It was like the most absurd thing I'd ever seen, and it happened like that.
And you guys cleared, so you guys kept wrestling after that happened, or was it like?
Oh yeah, it was actually hilarious. There was some police officers there, you know, like there always is at sporting. So I think there was like one cop there. So, you know, obviously the coaching staff on both Life's end and our end were breaking it up, and some of the guys were obviously like getting into it. There was no like crazy like fights necessarily.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
But it was a big brawl, and then we obviously got it cleared out, and like I said, the bleachers cleared. So there's some parents that were helping, and some wrestlers were into it. Some wrestlers were helping, and you know, they got it broken up, and it was hilarious because the ref didn't know what to do, obviously. So he kind of like looked at our staff and Life staff, and he's like, we're neutral. So no points were given, no points were taken. Like it was so funny. I was like, you should at least hit both teams. Like, you know,
there should be penalties on both sides.
Right, exactly. Or even like warning, you know, I don't know. But I thought it was hilarious. And then by the time that match was over, there was like 10 cops in the building for the rest of the duel, which was hilarious to me. So yeah, it was intense. And then Zane actually, he won his match, but he had to, I think he had to like tacker pin to keep him in it. And, you know, obviously he's a great wrestler, but our guy did well with keeping it close, and that kind of sealed the deal. So, yeah. You know, going into heavyweight, it was kind of like locked up, I think. And it was like the crowd was crazy, and it was so fun. And yeah, it was a cool duel, man. And I hope we get to do it again next year. And I think we're wrestling at their place next year, and it'll be fun. And those duels with them and us will always be fun.
Yeah. So, I've loved, just like you said, like Zane's a really good wrestler, but it is hard. Like, we faced, man, I honestly, I don't even know the team. We faced some team at the national semis, national duels. And like, it was my job. I had to tech the guy or pin him to get us to the finals. It was Baker. Yeah. This kid, absolutely, no offense to him, you know, all respect, he sucked. Right. Wasn't ranked, did not qualify for nationals that year. I didn't get taken down by anyone this year but this kid and Tanner Farmer. There was two people the whole year who took me down because I was just rushing for takedowns, trying to get the tech. So I was already beating him pretty good, and then I just started like going crazy trying to beat him. It's hard to beat someone, like it's hard to like really destroy someone when there's that much on the line, and they're like, all I have to do is be really defensible. And,
yeah, it's hard to wrestle someone that doesn't want to wrestle. No, I totally get that. Especially, you know, you've had a lot of success, and and you know, Zane has as well, and you know, I'm sure we all know what it feels like when you're, whether it's in practice or in a match, and you're wrestling someone that may be intimidated, or you know, maybe they're younger than you, or whatever the reason may be, and they don't open up. It's hard when you're not getting reactions or points. Yeah, you know, once you hit a certain level, you know, everyone's going to be good. But when they're not wrestling and they're not giving you reactions, it's hard to score points.
It really is. They stall, and it's super frustrating. So just like just a question, just to go on a little bit. So obviously, I forgot to ask Andreas this, but like if I talk to any national champs, like I'm going to talk to a track national champ next week. Awesome. There's like, for me, there's lots of different things that kind of went into it, like obviously winning nationals and stuff. Right. Just besides the day, if you had to say, like, if you could like put your finger on just like a few things that really got you there to like winning nationals, what would you say those were?
Yeah. Man, I know it's like so cliche, and everybody says it all the time, but it really is. It really is all about mindset. Let me see if I can mute this real quick. Sorry.
No, you're good.
It's a mindset thing. I mean, you got to be bulletproof. And I wasn't always bulletproof. You learn. But so I got my national championship ring or whatever, and on the inside of it, it says consistency. I think consistency is the number one thing, and that goes for physical, mental, emotional, doesn't matter. You got to be consistent every day. And I try to explain to some people, that doesn't mean. So a great example is in practice. You got to be consistent in the practice room. Maybe some days you're feeling like crap, and it doesn't mean you have to consistently win. But you got to consistently give effort. And maybe it's not, drill until your legs fall off and you're sore and you can't move the next day, but you're gonna work until you get better. But definitely consistency, man. Like I said, I think the biggest thing is when kids get an opportunity to have a day off or whatever. I'm a big believer in rest days. I don't think it's smart to go crazy every day, but you got to do something, whether it's get out and go for a walk.
Active recovery.
Yeah. And that's part of consistency. A lot of people don't think about it. They think, man, I got to stay consistent. I got to work hard today. Maybe part of consistency is doing something towards your goal, whether that's, going out for a walk and clearing your head, going over, whether it be notes or something. I think that's the biggest thing for me.
Yeah, I totally agree. I would even say consistency in the little things, like how you warm up before a match, how you eat, like just little things like that. Because it does all add up. Like for me, the way I would warm up in practice, because at Lindsay, they'd basically be like, all right, here's warm up. You got like 10 minutes, go warm up. We're going to start doing our crazy hard drills basically after that. How I would warm up in practice would be how I warmed up before every single match. It was the same. Right. It was literally always the same. I didn't need a partner. I didn't need nobody. It was like, I'm going to do this and I'm going to visualize myself every single day going out and like walking up that little stage that we have for like the national finals. And like consistently playing in my mind, like I'm in the national finals. Anytime I do something, I'm in that. I would wrestle with Trevor Lawson. That was my biggest competition in the room. I don't know if you know who that is, but
yeah. Him and Antonio always had battles, man.
Yeah, exactly, man. Me and this dude also always had battles, and it would be like 1 or 2 point matches we would have in the wrestling room. And I'm a lot bigger than him, so it's like he was just a tough dude. So like whenever I would wrestle him, I'd always be like, "This is the national finals right here. I'm wrestling the best guy in the country right now." Just consistently like putting myself like in the space of like I'm doing everything every day to be a national champion, and this is like my mindset for it. And it just does sound corny, like you said. It sounds cliche, corny, or whatever. Yeah, but it's right, dude. It's like the little things like that really do matter. Especially if you want to like win. And not many people do win national titles, regardless of division. It's super freaking hard. There's always someone really, really good trying to take your spot. Whether it's lots of freaking transfers every year on my side. And like, man, I had a different Division I transfer every single year that I went into the national finals. And yeah, I guess I got lucky, but it's tough. Another question. This is a controversial question. I wrote down a ton, but I'm not going to ask you all of them because we're doing good talking or whatever. But what do you think about participation trophies? This is a big one. I'm starting to ask everyone.
Man, I might get hate on this one. It is what it is. I don't think you should get participation trophies. I don't know. Yeah. I know Jordan Burroughs had like a really good bit, and I'm not going to say it didn't make sense. And I think it's just like anything in the world. There's not really a right or wrong answer.
Agreed.
I think it goes person to person. There's a story. When I was a kid, I went to this trophy tournament or whatever, and I think I took fourth, and I think there was like 5 kids on my bracket. And and my dad was like, "You don't get a trophy," and I was like, "Yeah, I do." And he said, "No, you don't." Like, but and then the same thing happened to my high school coach's kid. He took third, and I think there was 3 kids in his bracket. And he's like, "You're not getting a trophy. You didn't win a match," So I don't know. I don't think they're good. I think it, like I said,
I'm with you.
I think you get, like I said, cliche again, you get what you earn. And you know, if we're just handing out trophies like that, I mean, you're not going to build, you know, competitiveness and drive. You know, what do you got to work for if you're getting one anyways?
No, yeah, dude, I'm completely with you. I think they're BS. Even I mean, Andreas disagreed about this a little bit. I even think they're BS at like the really little kid level. Like I think I just think like it's just you're setting unrealistic expectations very, very early on. And I think it creates a sense of entitlement when you're just being rewarded for losing.
Yeah, I think it'd be almost better I mean, you got to understand, you know, I think it's great to get kids involved in the sport when you're little. I think it's a good thing, and it helps grow the sport, you know, and I think it'd almost be better if they don't give any trophies or any placements until you're 10 years old, you know?
Yeah, that's a good one.
You know, because, you know, you see it on both ends, whether you never win a match until you're 10, you know, you're going to be discouraged if everyone else is getting medals and you're not, you know, and like I said, I don't think it's a bad thing. You know, like I said, you kind of get what you earn, but, you know, vice versa. There's a lot of times where, you know, you're really successful as a kid and you're getting all these trophies and all these medals. And then, you know, maybe, you know, you hit puberty late or whatever the reason, you start to get past when you're 10, 11 years old, 12 years old. You start to get past, well, you go from winning a medal and a trophy every week for the last 4 to 5 years to, you know, maybe start taking second or maybe start taking third, or maybe you don't place at a tournament. And it's so discouraging. And then you start to be in it more for the medals and the trophies than, you know, the process and learning and growing and getting better. Cause, you know, those kids don't think like you or I or adults, you know, they want the trophy and that's it. They don't care if they wrestle well or if whatever they got to do, they got to win the trophy. So I almost think it's better to just not give any trophies in up to a certain age group than to give them to everybody. Like I said, I think I don't know. I think it makes soft people, I guess.
Man, that's a really good, really, really great and unique answer. I literally would have never thought about that. Like, I can say the same. I actually didn't start wrestling until I was 14 years old. But yeah, dude, I was a late bloomer. Yeah. But I'll hold my own against any of these 8-year-old starters. All right. But but that's a great point. Like if I have a kid and they decide to wrestle, like it's one of the things that I say, and I would say to myself right before my matches, I would say, you know, I'm bigger than this moment. And I'm bigger than this just in general. I said it before every single match, no matter who I wrestled, great guy, horrible guy, it doesn't matter. I think with kids, I think it's great to put them in the mindset. Like if you say no medals, no trophies, dude, you're so much more than if you like win this tournament or don't win this tournament. Just have fun. Like wrestling is just so much more than just winning a tournament. It's so fun. Like I love the experiences I had. I got to travel. I got to eat lots of free food. I met lots of cool people. Hell, I get to talk to a bunch of random, you know, a bunch of people. I would have never met you. You know, I would have never talked to you or Andreas or Zane. You guys are all just totally different people I never would have known. And, you know, it's so great because like wrestling is so much more than, you know, winning some BS tournament. And that's why I agree. Like what's the point of having the medals, especially early on? Of course, like when you get in high school, there comes scholarships and stuff like that.
Yeah, but, totally.
Yeah. But early on, I think it is good to teach the kids like that, like Penn State mindset, where it's like, you're having fun, just have fun. Like, because in the end, that's really all that matters. You're going to have fun and you're probably going to become good if you just work really hard and have fun while you're doing it. And maybe not, you know, some people get really lucky and become really, really good. Some people absolutely just suck. And that's not a bad thing, you know, although suck sounds horrible.
Yeah. You know, going off that, it's kind of similar. Like I said, I had competition anxiety and I'd freeze up in matches and, you know, I was this great wrestler in practice. And then obviously, like I said, overcame it. And one of those ways is, you know, I'd try to think before my matches, you know, in 10 years, is my family am I going to show up to my family's house and they're going to be like, oh dude, sorry, we don't want you here. You lost to so-and-so in the national summit. Like, no, man, you start to think crazy when you're in those moments. You got to understand, you know, when you're sitting at a job interview, for a big business in 10 years, they're going to read the resume and they're not going to say, oh dude, you lost in the quarterfinals your junior year or whatever. Like, we don't want you. They're going to say, wow, you were a college wrestler. Like, wow, you must be very disciplined and hardworking. You know, so you kind of overlook those things, like the bigger picture. I would always remind myself of those before my matches. Like, man, in 10 years, none of this is going to matter. Either way, my family's going to love me. In 10 years, I'm going to have a great job. I'm going to have a wife and kids, hopefully. And, I'm going to be living a great life. And ironically enough, I'm only 1 year out. And I swear, I say this all the time and people don't believe me. They think I just say it. But, I forget all the time I won a national title. And I'm completely honest. I think like it's serious. Like I have it hanging I have like a little trophy box with my plaque in my ring. And then my charts in my office and everything. But I swear I forget it. Like I never go up there and look at it. I never wear my ring. I walk in my office every single day and I never look up at the chart that sits right above me. And, the things I think about when I look back at my career is like the bus trips to Southeastern. We'd always get a charter bus and they were so fun. Like we would just joke around and, the bus trips there and back and things like that, hanging out in the hotel room and being goofballs, before the tournament, when we probably should have been in bed and just little things like that. That's what I'm going to hold on to. Obviously it's great to, like I said, put it on a resume, have going into a job interview. And obviously a lot of myself and my personality has been built through wrestling since I was a kid. And, the attributes that I carry with me, have been built through wrestling and whatnot. So I'm grateful for it all, but, just the accomplishments don't really mean a whole lot. The experience means a lot more.
Yeah, dude, it's just a moment. Like that's literally, it goes both ways. Like when I'm talking to myself, just the same way, it's like, this is just a moment. So whether I lose, it doesn't really matter. And whether I win, it matters, but like not really. Like in the long term of things, that's why, like I said, I'm so much more than being a national champion. Like you just said, man, like what does that even mean? Sometimes is what I think. Like I'm a national. Like what does that mean? Because I can go train with Mason Paris, go up to Spatola's and train with Mason Paris and get my ass beat. And I'm like, so like, what is that? What does that mean that I'm a national champ? It doesn't mean anything. It means that I now, the way I use it, obviously it's a part of my brand, right? But like when I really think about me, Brandon Reed, who am I? It's like I'm so many different things, man. I'm a professional athlete now. I do jiu-jitsu. I'm a coach. I'm a boyfriend. I'm a son. I have hobbies, and
right.
I'm not really. I was a national champion on March 2021, 2019, and 2020, like whatever. But like overall, in the grand scheme of things, no one's really no one cares. Yeah. Like
it's so funny you say that because obviously, going back to just a lot of times wrestlers being engulfed in wrestling, we have some guys that obviously struggle. Just any program in the country, doesn't matter the level. You have people who burn out. It's a big thing in wrestling is a burnout. Mm-hmm. And I try to explain them. So, a great example of that is, and it's almost similar to what you said, is the first thing I asked him, I had a kid this year come into Coach Bedard and I, and he tried to quit. He said he was burnt out. And I said, and this is a kid that loved wrestling. He was always wanting to wrestle. Maybe wasn't accomplishing the goals that he had thought that he would at this point, worked his butt off, did everything right. And he wasn't accomplishing the goals. And he started to get burnt out. He said, and I said, when's the last time you went outside and went for a walk? And he said, I don't know. I said, what do you do? Like, what do you enjoy doing outside of wrestling? He's like, I like lifting weights. I was like, yeah, but you do that for wrestling. Like, what do you enjoy? What do you enjoy doing? He's like, I don't know. And I said, that's your problem.
That's like powerful.
You're only about wrestling. It's just like, you think about a man and a woman in a relationship and, maybe, and if they're constantly, if you're constantly thinking about something in the relationship and you never get over it and you're constantly thinking about it day and night while you're at work, before you go to bed, everything is going to drain you and it's going to create all this argument and this tension and et cetera. It's the same with a sport. Like your mind can only handle so much of something. So if the morning you wake up, you're thinking, and it's the same thing I asked him. I said, when's the last time you ate a meal and, you didn't think about the calories or how much
that's huge,
healthy. And he's like, I don't know. So you think like these kids, they're waking up and they're going to morning lift or whatever, and then they're going to eat and when they're eating a meal, they're thinking, okay, what can I eat for wrestling? You know, and then they're going to class and they're like, where's my water bottle? I want to be hydrated for wrestling. And then they're like, man, I got to get this homework done so I can be eligible for wrestling. And then you go to practice and then you're like, I got to go to bed. You know, maybe a buddy's like, hey, you want to watch a movie? You're like, I got to go to bed for wrestling. You know, so you overwhelm yourself with wrestling and then you start to get burnt out and you're like, then you start to hate it because it's taken over your life. A lot of times you forget, like I said, man, what do I do as a hobby? Like, what do I like to do?
Yeah.
You know, wrestling is a sport. It shouldn't consume you. You know, and same thing with, you know, when's the last time you went outside and went for a walk? You know, that's something you should do every week, if not every day. Like, when's the last time you went outside and went for a walk? You know,
exactly.
So I started explaining this to them, you know, and I said, you know, take a couple. Coach Bedard, you know, take a couple days. You know, don't come in here. You know, and you know, go do things. You know, go do things.
Do something besides wrestling.
What you like to do, right? You know, if someone ever asks you, like, what do you like to do besides wrestling? You should be able to list them. Man, I love eating good food. I love hanging out with my friends. I like watching movies. I like drawing pictures. I like cooking. Like, you know, that's just things off the top of my head. Like, you should always have things. Like, if you don't know what you like to do, then you're consumed by something too much, in my opinion. And I think
agree,
that's
man.
a big reason for the burning out thing. And, you know, just going back to the competition anxiety, things like that ran through my head before, you know, my national semis and my national finals helped me just go out and let loose and have fun.
Yo, dude, that was a great answer. That was a super great answer. Like, honestly, because I mean, man, I'm literally exactly the same as you. Like, me in the wrestling room versus me outside of the wrestling room in college, I was like, fuck wrestling. Actually, me and one guy on the team got in a fight, like an argument, because of my personality, like outside of the wrestling room. Because this is gonna sound horrible, and this is to the extreme. And I don't have to say anyone else has to do this, but I completely detached myself from wrestling, including my team, when I wasn't in the room. And I would say that was to my detriment a little bit. Of course, but I was also planning to go to Japan. I'm study Japanese, and I also just had lots of friends on different sports teams. So for me, I was like super absorbed in the fact that I want to detach myself from wrestling, so that when I am doing wrestling, it's like 1 hour of the day. So I mean, maybe I watched film every now and then to take notes and stuff, but I mostly just hung out with my friends who literally couldn't give a shit whether I won a national title or not, because they're not wrestlers and they kind of think wrestling is a stupid sport. In a respectful way, they thought that.
That's, and you know, I hung out with my team and stuff, but you know, obviously, just like everybody, you're gonna have times where, you know, you're dragging and you're complaining about something, and
exactly
that, and that's normal, and I think that's healthy. But, you know, having and on the other end of it is, I'm a wrestling fan. I love wrestling. Like, you know, like I said, watch the duels. Like, I watch the Big Ten duels every weekend. If there's a big duel, I'm going, and like I bought tickets to NCAAs, and you know, obviously, so I love wrestling, but you know, you got to distance yourself from it now and again. And I think it will help. You know, same thing. You know, like I said, I love wrestling, and after season, it's hard to like step away from the mat. But you know, you take a month or two off, and then you come back and you realize you're refreshed.
Yes, you have to take time off. You have to. It's like a ginormous must. Yes, if you don't, you're gonna get burnt out, like, for sure.
It happens all the time.
Yeah, dude. That's why I never felt burnt out the whole time. Because I mean, of course, like I said, I did have there were like 3 or 4 guys on the wrestling team who I was with all the time. But like when we hung out together, these are like 3 or 4 guys who we were like bump wrestling. Like, when we're together, we're not talking wrestling. And then I had like my friends outside of wrestling. And when it wasn't the wrestling season, yes, I was wrestling about 3 times a week, never more, you know, never less. I was lifting like every single day. But for the most part, it was like you have to like, you just got to find something like outside of wrestling to keep you from being burnt out. Mine was learning Japanese, and then just honestly just hanging out with other people, partying a little bit, you know, healthy partying, like, after season, like hanging out with people, enjoying yourself, and not taking yourself so seriously. Not taking wrestling so seriously too. It's a huge thing that I tell people. So
do you speak Japanese?
Pretty well. I'm not fluent. I got so there's 5 different tests. There's the N5 through N1. I got to N3. So the highest test I got is N3. Like, this shirt is Japanese. Like, it just says wrestling on it. Like, that's
crazy, man.
So I was supposed to go to Japan. I actually had a job offer to go to Japan right after college, and to teach English, and I turned it down because I had a little bit of like a midlife, not early life career crisis where I was like, like I have to move to a whole nother country now. Like this is too much for me. It came too fast. So
Yeah.
I actually turned down. I was super head on with going to Japan and stuff. And then with COVID and stuff, COVID also made it a little bit more complicated for me to go. So this the accumulation of all these weird factors and me having like an early stage adult crisis, I kind of just dropped it. Which just sounds sad and crazy because if anyone knows, like I studied Japanese so much, like so hard, 3 or 4 hours a day. I basically just hung out with like Japanese students and just so I could learn. Like I really went all in, and that's what I was like for me. And I don't suggest everyone does this, but like I made it. Like I had this other thing, like this really big hobby, because that's what it was. I had this really big hobby that I was so like in love with that like wrestling was like almost my break from that. Like most of my day was consumed with hanging out with my friends or studying Japanese, and wrestling was like my freedom.
Yeah. No, that makes complete sense.
Yeah.
That's why you had so much success and you let it fly.
Yeah, dude, I had so much fun. I sometimes like now that I'm a coach, I look back at my wrestling matches and I'm like, I'm horrible because I've learned how to like break down wrestling a lot better. And now like when I look at my old matches, I'm like, dude, you sucked. How'd you win?
Yeah, no, I feel that. I know we're only 1 year out, but I always thought I wrestled pretty well. And looking back, I did. But the one thing it's not really even a regret that, I wish like I could see myself now and go back and wrestle is just opening up more.
That's my problem. I mean, dude, you kicked the guy's butt in the finals, and
Gio was dealing with an injury, and I shout out to Gio. He's a good dude, and respect to him because he gave me my moment. He didn't have to. He could have.
Yeah, he could have forfeited.
Get an injury forfeited or whatever, and he had he went out there, put his foot on the line, gave me my moment, knowing that he wasn't 100%, and I respect him, and man, I wish nothing but the best for him because
dude, he's a cold-blooded killer too, man, in like a good way. Like the fact that he beat Derek after he was already super injured, I was like, whoa, like this guy knows his like that was hard. So same, mad respect. No offense, Gio. I'm not, trying to dog on you because I actually want to have him on here. He's one of the guys that I reached out to.
Yeah, no, he's a good dude. I think he'd be great for the podcast. Like I said, we talk, when we see each other, and it's always, like I said, always respect. He's a good dude, and so that would be awesome. I would definitely, look forward to listening to that one and everything.
Yeah, for sure. I forget. Who did you wrestle in the semifinals at Nationals?
I wrestled Wilder Witchman from Thomas More.
Oh yeah, how was that match?
It was good. I won 5-2, or maybe 5-3. I got 2 takedowns and escape. I think he got 2 or 3 escapes. So
he's a tough dude. He trains out of Wisconsin. He actually trained at like AWA, I think. Like with
he's good, man. He had such a weird style. Like he was straight on. Like he was a weird feel better. I didn't expect what I got. He has a, I would say a normal wrestling style. He wrestles hard. He's in your face. He hand fights. He's good from a front headlock and underhooks and whatnot. But the way he hand fought was just different than anything I had felt. So mid-match adjustments obviously helped and got to my offense and wrestled a good match and whatever. But
then you won it. Then you did your thing.
Yeah.
So last question, because I took a ton of your time. Sorry about that, dude. So if you see any of my Instagram posts now, when I post this stuff, I always ask the question, what's one piece of advice you'd give someone new going into your sport, whether they're like a kid or they're like a little kid or like a high schooler who's starting the sport? What's your piece of advice?
Man, you give so many different things of advice.
I know you can give 1 or 2, whatever, no rush.
I think the biggest thing, and I think I saw one of the other guys' answers, and I think it might have been a little similar, but the biggest thing is just to, have fun and enjoy it. Find bits and pieces every day that you can take with you for the rest of your life. Because at the end of the day, you can't, like we were talking earlier, you can't take these accomplishments, any further. So find something you can take with you for the rest of your life and learn from it and, use wrestling as a building block to a successful life. You know, and with that, have fun, because if you're not having fun with it, you're probably not going to get much better, and you're probably not going to be very good. And then it's going to turn into something that's, you know, a burden on your life. So, you know, definitely have fun, you know, work hard, and, you know, don't let the success be a determining factor of, you know, whether it was a success in your life or whether it made you happy or anything like that. So
100% agree. 100% agree. All right, dude. That was a great answer. I appreciate you being on.
Yeah,
It was dope. It was really good, man. That's why I love, man. I'm actually scared to talk to a non-wrestler, because so far the first 3 guests I've had have been wrestlers, and you guys have all been super easy to talk to.
Well, yeah, it's like, you know, like you were saying earlier, it's just like it's like that wrestling respect, man. You know what we go through, and whether you have success or not, we all go through a lot. And, you know, especially when you have success, like, you know, you did, and I did, and these other guys did, that you did the podcast with, you know, like, we kind of just, we have this like different connection, I guess.
Yeah, we're all brothers. We're all brothers.
Oh, for sure.
We just had to fight each other every once in a while.
That's right.
Well, dude, it was awesome. Yes, sir.
Go Eagles. Go Eagles. So
go Eagles. All right, dude. I'll see you later. Good luck.
Yeah, absolutely, man. You as well. God bless.
Yes, sir.